Whoa! Hello everyone, Richard Carlton here. Welcome to an awesome day where we're having lots of awesome fun with the FileMaker platform. Our goal is to make you as awesome as possible when you're building your custom FileMaker applications. My name is Richard Carlton. I'm the creator of fmtraining.tv, where we build lots of great FileMaker training to help you out. And today is just another awesome day. We're doing great, having great fun with FileMaker. Actually, it's actually a lot of fun. I'm just going to adjust the camera in flight here a little bit. We'll be joining Calvin, who's in the broadcast already. Calvin, you're the Christian backup, I guess. Are you ready to talk about some things with us today?
Yes. So the first thing we want to talk about custom functions, but the big thing that we want to talk about was integration with Twilio and being able to send a message without interacting with like have an automated process that sends a message. But somebody asked about what my favorite custom function is, and so I'll show that real quick. In FM starting point, we've got the custom functions, and my favorite custom function right now is this assign and this ampersand.
That's the global transfer one, right? That's the global transfer one? Okay,
and
that one's really good. That's really good.
What's awesome about it is it helps you write code or scripts that are more modular, and you can set all of your variables at once. So we'll just put together a real quick. There's one script in here that uses it, 0956, if you want to take a look at that. And I'm just going to put in a new script. What's important, though, when you use this is because we have a whole bunch of script parameters, is that we really document well what we are putting in that script parameter. So, and what the script needs. So maybe we want to say, usually when I use this one, I will put in an if statement just for a place to type out what I'm needing, and I'll put my custom function in there. And here is the name of the ID that I want to use. So, and that needs to be in quotes. So I'll say ID contact, and the value, I'm just going to point to the ID contact field, and let's put a couple more things in here. Let's say we'll put in the contact name, and we'll just say name, and that'll be the first name, and we'll put the date, and maybe that's current date, current, does that get current date right there? Okay, so I'll save this, and this is going to be a really basic script just to show how it works. I'll say set variable, and here I put a tilde just as a marker. It doesn't really, I don't use this actually. And I say assign, this is the second. It's two custom functions that work together. And I just say get script parameter. So this here I disable because it's just a workspace. And often I'll put this in a comment as well. So I want all of this information. I'll say script parameters, hold down option and return so I can put those in my comment. And so there's my comment. I'm going to show custom dialog. Let's just list list a couple of those values. List, and we'll say ID contact. I think it was name and date. So copy these, and what this custom function allows us to do is to give multiple script parameters to a script. And so then we can, it makes it more modular, and we can use it different places. Instead of using set variable multiple times, so in this case we'd have to do it 3 times.
So what happens is if you're in location A, so I'm gonna draw pictures over here. So say we're in location A over here, okay, in a FileMaker file, and you want to call another FileMaker file over here, or another script. So your script over here, it could even be another file, but you have a script over here. You want to call that script, and there are dependencies between the two. You need some variables to go across, right? You can define the variables as globals if you're not moving out of the file. The idea, though, is to kind of transfer the variables and have them if it's a transporter beam in Star Trek, we're over here, and then we're going to call the script over here. A lot of times the variables won't come over for a variety of reasons, Bunny, right? So Bunny's our beginner. He needs to understand that when you define a variable over here, the idea is that we need to somehow get them over here. If you define them in the same file and they're all defined as $, you don't have to do this. But sometimes if you're in a different file, etc., you need a way of transferring the variables. It's also a way to make the code more transportable. So you could so a lot of different areas over here could call this same script. So the question is, how do you move the variables from point A to point B? That's really the question. How do you get these items here, ID name, ID contact, date and time, etc.? So that's the idea, right, Calvin?
Right.
So is this the receiving end of it, or is this the sending, right? What script are we looking at here? What is this?
Yeah, this was just a demo to show that it worked, or that it would create all of those variables all at once. But let's say we want to create and it doesn't necessarily even have to be a new between 2 scripts. If I say I'm going to use this script to create a new invoice from multiple places. So let's say we'll say go to layout, and I'm going to say invoice, and we'll go to the standard invoice layout. And I'll say new record and set field. And the fields that I want to set are in invoices, which is T12. I want to set the ID contact. And that's going to be based on this variable here. And I'll put that in our calculation. And maybe the contact name, and right here I just selected Command D to duplicate that line, so I'm at the same place. And maybe I want to carry that date, so that's the date invoice, I believe. And so we'll be able to use this script from 2 different places without actually changing the script at all. So here, let me go ahead and save this. And we'll call this new invoice. And I'm going to call it new invoice here. And there we go. Now let's go ahead and try this out with the script debugger on so we can see what's going on. Browse mode. So our contact is number 1, Ryan. I'll open the script debugger. And let's see what happens with new invoice. Now, remember, I only set this, there's only 1 variable. And you can see here we've got this long string of script parameters. ID contact equals contact 1, name equals Ryan, date equals...
You're talking about this part up here?
I'm sorry, we're talking about this part down here at the call stack.
Oh, okay. Listen, we zoomed in the screen. We weren't even looking at that. So try that again. Yeah, because I zoom in. Because people can't read this, so I'm zoomed. So if you're down at the bottom, Daniel, let's try this again. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so here we can see at the call stack we're saying new invoice, and you can see the list of those that string of text.
So this is the script name, and this is the script parameter, and so
yeah.
Very cool.
And using this custom function allows us to have multiple script parameters. Usually it's just a single line. It is a single line, but the second custom function, assign, will break that out into multiple variables. So let's go ahead over here and we'll see that have we already run this? We'll go ahead and say set variable, and you'll see now we have just the number 1, which means it triggered, and we have our date down here, and we have ID contact is right here, number 1, and then we should have name, which is here. Oh, so those were our 3 variables, and they automatically populated just when we did line 9. Okay, so I'm going to move this off to the side. Next step is go to invoice, and I'm just going to jump through the on layout enter triggers. Next step is new record, and now it's going to start setting these fields, and I'll bring up the script debugger again so we can see those fields get being set. Here's ID contact, and it just set with the contact name. Now contact ID, the contact name is an auto enter lookup, so we don't really need to set it, but because I have a variable there, I'm going to go ahead and say set contact name. It's set to Ryan, which was our variable, and then the date invoice is also a auto enter date, so that is there as well. And now we're going to see our custom dialog. Those are the values that were passed in that script.
Yeah.
This is the magic, is that so we have this new invoice button, and it's sitting here on, I'm going to copy it. It's sitting here on the contacts layout, but what if I want to call it the same script somewhere else? And maybe I'll have it in projects. And this is assigned to the same contact. Let's assign it to somebody else. Is he our only contact? I guess he's our only contact. But so let's go ahead and put that same button here on projects. And in this case, the script parameter won't work because we're referencing TO5, the table group contacts table, which is table group 5. But I can change this T16 to projects, and we'll change this to, is there a contact name? We'll just change it to contact, and date can stay the same. So now we're using the same script, but we're using it starting from a completely different context. We don't have to have a different script everywhere we have a new invoice button.
We have a button somewhere, wherever it's at. Where's the button currently at? It's not on this screen. Can you go back to where the button's at? One of the places.
The button's here.
So the button's right here. The idea is that we can call a script generically, right? A very important idea. And what we do by doing that is that every time, if we kept building these buttons in different places, we would have to make a script for each button. So what we do is we package up in the script parameter. Script parameter is like, and I've explained this for a lot of you, if you ever play American football or you've seen American football, they throw the football. The football is like one script calling another script. So it throws the football to another guy who grabs it and it throws it to that script. The script parameter is literally, if you have a football and you throw it through the air, if you stuck a Post-it note, right? So if we take a Post-it note, right? We peel it off, we stick it, a little message on here. You stick it on the football, you throw it. The script that receives it, catches the football, can then read the note. That's the critical part of what's going on here, right? And so you always have the ability to read the note. The question is, what can you put in here that's useful and helpful? And what he's done is a very clever way of loading values into this note really quickly, throwing the football, having it be received by someone else. Then on the other side, it's a custom function that kind of takes the note and converts it into variables for you, right? Because really you need, the note is a block of text. Literally when you send this across on the football as a script parameter, it's a block of text. It has limited utility. And this gets back to where Nathan Schneider's conversation was going, is that how do you organize this in here so you can have like different fields and things? I've seen people use a field, put a value, and then a vertical pipe to separate it. Because once you pack it in here, you shoot it the thing on the other side has to be able to read it and decode it, right? So if you see a value in a vertical pipe and a value in a vertical pipe, this thing does that kind of, it's that kind of idea of building the post-it note for you with a lot of fields. On the other side, it automatically decodes it for you, which is really cool, right? That's the whole point of this. Nathan Schneider is saying, well, what if we encode the stuff on the post-it note differently, right? And so then
and it could be done differently. There's a lot of different options there. One option that I used before I used this custom function was just list. But if one of those value, and I'd say get value 1, get value 2,
correct,
get value 3.
Yep.
But what if one of the values is missing? It throws everything off.
Correct.
So
that's absolutely correct. So on the list, you ask for the list. If you say all these values and then there's a blank field in there, it does it. The list function doesn't just give you a blank value and then keep going. If it did that, that'd be great. It actually rolls it up and deletes that blank value. And so it throws everything off, right? That's the problem. So if you have a blank value, it's not reliable because it will just delete where you really needed to have a blank line to represent there was nothing in that field. It takes everything, moves it up. So that's why XML is useful. That's why JSON is useful, some sort of structured environment. Christian loves the JSON stuff. I think a lot of people love JSON. What is JSON? JSON is nothing more than the way of writing text on a piece of paper, right, in an organized fashion. XML is basically, if you're not a technical person, whoever the bunnies of the world, right? XML and JSON from your perspective is very, very similar. Different. It's like a different language. It's like I can say, go get me wash my car in Spanish, or I can say go wash my car in English. The net result is go wash my car, but almost like a language difference, right? From a very layman's perspective, right? Same net effect on the end though, absolutely. So yeah, because I want my car clean, right? So there you go. I use this one here pretty simple because the whole idea is that trying to write your own formula here is a pain in the butt. This custom function, I love it a lot. I like Calvin's suggestion here on this custom function, and it's part of starting point. So if we look at it, can we go back to custom functions, Calvin, real quick? Just look at those two. So when you have to build the message, right? So is this the one? This is the build the message one right here?
Yeah, this is the build the message one, and this is the unpack the message.
Unpack the message, right? Really, in my world, it'd be build it and unpack it, but whoever originally engineered this decided that was great. So you build the message, then it goes on the post-it note, and you throw it, and the guy on the other end receives it, hopefully catches it, hopefully. Once again, doesn't always work that way, but that's what you want. And it's like the receiver in a football game. It'd be really funny in the football game. The quarterback says, "I love you," right? Or, you stole my girlfriend from me or something like that. And writes it on, throws it to him. The guy grabs it and stops and starts reading it, right? Really, that's what we're saying. And then after he reads it, then he starts running again, right? And so very important concept. A lot of you who are starting off new will just throw the football. You won't bother with a message on the football. It's not required. You don't have to do it. It's just, as you become more senior, it can be very useful to put a little message, "I hate you," on the end message and send it to the other guy, right? All right, moving along. Calvin, are you ready to do the Twilio demo? Totally different topic.
I'm ready, yep.
This is more intermediate. Both are useful, but this has like an in-use practicality to it. Like we can sit, yeah, this is great. So why don't you show this off? This is great. And does this have to have an account? Do we want to cover that at the beginning here?
This does, yeah. So this is what we're sending out this file for you to try out, and this is what it's going to look like when you download it. We've got some resources for you. What we're using in FileMaker to talk to Twilio is called insert from URL, and so we've got a little link here to kind of explain more about what that is and how that works. And the other links, there's a link to open your own Twilio account. And let's go ahead and grab my information. Actually, I need to grab that out of, when you set up your account, there's going to be a dashboard area. And the important information so that when you're setting this up in FileMaker, it knows who you are, is your account SID and your authorization token. So I'm going to copy my account ID, go back to FileMaker. And I'll just paste that into this field and copy my token. And I set up my account this morning. It's a free account. It comes with it says, it has a message saying that it's free. I'm going to copy my trial number. This is the number they assigned to me when I set this up.
So we have $14 left until these guys get a hold of it, and then it's going to melt. Is that what's going to happen?
Something like that, yeah.
Okay. Okay, whose phone is this?
This is my phone. So it'll come up in messages in the back. So I've got messages open, and you can see I was testing it earlier.
Different than yesterday's demo. This is where FileMaker directly is going to send you the message, and bammo, whammo, bammo, it goes, right?
Yeah, there's no interaction. The demo yesterday was a way to trigger messages to open or trigger WhatsApp to open, so you could send a message and type it up and start a conversation with somebody. This isn't about a conversation. This is more about a notification. So we can send a message and and tell somebody that they're on a schedule, or tell somebody that their order just shipped, whatever it might be. So we've got all our information: our account ID, our token, our from phone number, and the to phone number. Let's go ahead and say send text message. We'll try it out. And we immediately have our latest message. Welcome to the live stream. It's prefixed by sent from your trial Twilio account, so we know it's still a trial.
Oh,
and
so that $14 is part of a legit trial. Do they just give us like $20 worth and free, and that's what happens, or how's that work?
Yeah, so they give you 15, I think, to start, and so that's how much I've spent so far messing around with this. I've spent 50 cents today. We got our result over here on the right, and this just essentially this just says everything went through fine. But we'll notice that this result is in a JSON object. So let's go ahead and use the JSON format elements, and we'll make this a little more legible. So this is my script that is performing this, and my result is put in. We'll go through this in a minute, but what I first want to do is just make this result look a little prettier. So JSON format elements, and we'll put the result like in there. So let's try this again. This is my second message, and we'll say send. And now you'll see that we can see all the information is formatted a little more nicely, so we can read it and see, okay, there weren't any errors. The error code is null, and the rest of the information on the text message. So let's go ahead and see how this is set up in the FileMaker script. So here's my script. It's pretty simple. I think it's only 34 lines. And the first thing I do is put all of the variables, all of the information in variables. And I have set it up using assign in other apps to make it so I can send text messages from anywhere in the app. But in this case, just for the demo, I'm putting it in the
Okay, stop. I think you just said that you used that previous pack and unpack thing, the custom function.
Yeah, you could use that to
load those.
To load those. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So you said okay.
Yeah, we could use that pack and unpack. We're not using it in this case just because that's not what we're showing. I have this if statement that checks to make sure that there's a value in each of these variables. I'm clearing the result to make sure that I see the result from the current call. And then this is the really important part here, where we're setting up our URL in this set variable. So let's go ahead and try this out and see what that looks like. I'm going to open up my script debugger, say send text message, and I'm going to put my marker right here on line 26, press play. That stopped on 26, and let's see what that post looks like. This URL, And so this is what the information looks like when we're sending it to Twilio. You can see there's the account and token. There's information pointing to that account again. Then we're saying the message, and we're saying this is the phone number that it's to, this is the phone number that it's from, and this is the message, the body of the message. And once Twilio receives that, the way we send that to Twilio is through the next step. This is just putting it in a variable. This next step is this as insert from URL, and we're submitting that post, that HTTPS post, to Twilio and getting the result in this variable here. Run that. We'll see the result showed up over here, and it's that block of JSON that we saw previously, and it saved it in that field. So let's go ahead and so we've seen this work successfully a few times. Let's try to get an error out of it. And so I'm going to remove the country code from the phone number and say send text message, and it tells me that that's not a valid phone number. So this is what an error would look like if there was an error. I'm going to put that back in. And what's our text limit on a text message?
It used to be like 144 or something, right? So
yeah. So let me try. The one helpful thing to do here is in that message field. Sometimes what I'll do is make sure that it can't be more than oh, right here I have 160 characters, so it's only 160 characters. So let's go ahead and make this longer than 160 characters, and that calculation is just going to cut it off. So you'll see it cut off right there. We'll say send text message, and it sent just fine. Let's turn off that and make it really long and see what the error message looks like. So we'll turn that off, and we know this is 160 characters, so this must be 320. I'll say send text message, and actually I didn't have an issue there. And if we go over here, we'll see that the longer message went through as well. And interestingly enough, I found out that on the character limit, there's some for some SMS messages have a character limit of 160, but most carriers now it's 1600, and that was surprising for me today.
Yeah, that's I think the problem is that you're never really sure based on the recipient of the person of really, if you anything over 160, will it really make it? So yeah, you might want to keep it short, right?
That's what I would recommend as well.
Yeah, well, sending text messages out is a critical part of a good solution. Like I said, when we get invoices, get paid for engineers, like Calvin, you saw yesterday, Calvin will get a email and he gets a Slack message, but we could easily text it to him as well. And I guess you could actually Discord it as well. I think there are APIs to hook to Discord to send it out. Pretty much almost everything.
Right. Anything with a REST API, we can use the insert from URL to interact with, which is really, really awesome. But to as an introduction to the insert from URL, this is a really good demo, just because it's really straightforward and easy to work with, easy to see when there's a positive result, and easy to figure out those errors. Well, do we have any questions on it?
Yeah, good question. Do we have questions from anyone? Carol, IMOG. I'm not sure where IMOG is at. We missed IMOG. We like IMOG. I mean, we like it when our favorite awesome people show up. Yeah, so Nathan James is trying to get it to work, but he can't get it to work without all your like little secret codes in here, right? So that's too bad.
Yeah, so to do that, you can just go to Try Twilio in the resources and set up your account right here. And they'll give you those. Once you're in there, you'll just go to the dashboard, and all that information is right here on the dashboard for you. Your trial phone number, account SID, and your authorization token. you'll just copy and paste those right into
basically a totally
your
free
app.
totally free way of getting into this. I highly recommend playing with it and trying it out. David, I keep wanting to say Angel, but it's Angle. All API JSON services should be that simple. Yeah, one would think and hope, right? But the cool part of this integration here is that you can actually get a response back from people, which is great. And you can say, like, I get one from my dentist, says, hey, you want to confirm your dentist appointment, and hit C to confirm, and then X to cancel or to reschedule or whatever. And then you press that, then it sends it back here, then you get it back to FileMaker, which is awesome. So, yeah.
Yeah, getting it back to FileMaker though is outside what this demo does.
So no, it doesn't do that. Yeah, no, that's a whole nother level.
Just to clarify,
cost per text message question. What is the cost per text message?
If you go over here, there is a.
It's pretty cheap, but you can upgrade the kind of messages, right? So
right.
And they also have short numbers too. You can buy a short number. They have these numbers, like it says, text 55621, something, right? Some sort of what they call short numbers. Those are available, but you have to go and buy them, and they're like a lot of money to get one. Like I thought, a couple $1,000s anyway. But if you were doing like some sort of like say Goodidi and Nathan are going to get together and do a Super Bowl ad, right? Although there's no Super Bowl this year, but say they were going to do a Super Bowl ad, and they were selling their new FileMaker services. Text 55831, right, to this thing, whatever, and then so that's what they call a short number, right? There you go, short codes. You hit that. So for those of you educational, if you're in business, and like Walmart, right? So you got to have the short codes, right? So if you got money to light on fire, you have to apply for a short code. They're just not going to throw one at you, right? So because it takes some money to do that, right? So anyway, Ron looked it up. It's 0.001. You put that somewhere else? I'm not sure what
I think that's per text message or something.
Yeah. Oh, there it is. MailSoft. Oh, hey, Ron. I was wondering why my Twitch wasn't scrolling down. Yeah, there we go. 0.0. Yeah, it's Ron. That's Christian's Ron, or Ron's Christian, whatever. Christian is definitely positive for a groin injury. So we have that from the doctor. It's official. That's what happens when you don't warm up and then you start playing sports. Let's see. Yep. Awesome. Good deed. All right. So no other questions, folks? I mean, because that's kind of two interesting conversations here. One demo is the transfer of variables from script to script, making things much more modular, which is really cool. So Elzo asked a question, kind of an interesting conversation. He says, as part of a solution, is this a better option than WhatsApp? And I mean, basically everyone in the world basically can receive SMS, but but WhatsApp only works if they have the app set up for them, right? Calvin, I mean, what's your thought on that?
Yeah, I believe that's the case. That they would. This is acting as a standard phone number. While with WhatsApp, I believe you do have to have both users have to have a WhatsApp account. So that is a limitation.
Yeah.
But it's really what's the use case? It goes back to that.
Right. Look good. All right. General question from Scott. General question for those of you getting into JavaScript. What code writer are you using? Calvin, that's a good one for you.
Oh, I believe it is Visual Studio Code. I haven't used it.
Oof.
I didn't use it for this, but you can copy something and paste it in there.
Yeah, so Visual Studio Code, how much is it? He said it's open source, or what is that?
That's open source, yep.
Calvin, any final comments? Good job today, by the way.
No, just download the sample file, set up your Twilio account, and I'm sure you'll figure out some way find some way that it's important to your workflow.
And then Calvin's kicked rear end. If you folks need any FileMaker coaching, you want some help, assistance, send an email to support@RC Consulting. We have FileMaker coaches, a number of you who get the FileMaker coaching. That's available for you. Basically, the hourly rate somewhat variable, but it's generally discounted quite a bit over what a normal FileMaker developer would charge, which is great. All right, guys, folks, I appreciate it. We'll catch you tomorrow. Thank you.
Guys just stepped up the whole way. Calm, cool, collected the quarterback. Great read, good patience. More importantly, great job up front protecting this quarterback to give you a chance. And that's all you can ask for.
Trying to rally down 10. 9:25 to go here in the fourth. Short motion by Amendola from the left. Brady takes the shot. Stands in, throws it left for Amendola. Reaches up and snacks a high throw and lands inside the 10. Rolling to the 9. Ball slightly behind him, but Danny makes the grab.